today I'm going to be doing the really boring but necessary aspect of this industry, and that is production. How do you take this amazing, incredible design that is floating somewhere in your head and turning it into an actual piece of, like a tangible item that you can then sell to make money? Because if we don't go from here to here, then you're really just, it's a hobby, and I don't have a problem with you doing it, but I don't think this is the forum for that. So here we're trying to get you to start thinking of fashion as a business, fashion, the industry, how you convert all these intangible ideas to products that you can sell, how you sell them, and how you make money. Yeah, so So if you look at the sheets of paper that you've been given, we'll start from the very first one. So this is on the assumption that you have already created a collection. Like a lot of words are bandied around and people think they know, but a lot of times we really don't even understand what the premise that we're working with is. So we are going to assume that we have all gone through the process of research and creating a collection. So we have and we know what this collection is going to be, yeah? Okay. So now we're going into the bit that we don't really like. And the reason why we chose this aspect was that it happens to be the area that a lot of people really struggle with, because that's the area where you have to convert your ideas to products. So you have to deal with tailors, you have to deal with pattern cutters, you have to deal with so many different aspects that you don't necessarily enjoy or want to do. And then, so this dress I'm wearing, for instance, how many colors is it going to come in? Are we just going to do it in solid? Are we going to do it in print? Are we going to do it in a different fabrication as well? All of these are decisions you have to make. We've left little lines there for you to just write quick notes, so so you don't forget. Yeah. So once we've decided on our colorways, we've decided on our fabrication, we've decided on yardage, we've made all of those decisions. We have ordered. Are we getting the fabric? Are we going to the market to buy the fabric, or are we placing an order? How long will it take for the fabrics to get to us? Because if we don't have the fabric in at the time we need the fabrics to be in, we're going to be causing a delay which we really cannot afford. Yeah? So while that is going on, we start to develop the patterns. How many people can actually make patterns here? How many people? What kind of patterns do you make? Do you drape? Do you do flat pattern drafting? How many people cut freehand? Okay, so freehand is something that I don't preach. I don't advocate freehand, because when you cut it the first time and you're going to cut it the second time, it's never going to be the same. So you develop your pattern. It's at this stage also that you begin to decide what, in fact, let me not go to there yet. So you're going to have your patterns made. Are you making the patterns yourself? Are you outsourcing? Are you getting somebody to make the patterns for you? Pattern making is it's very technical, and it is the make or break of any design. It doesn't matter how fantastic you think that idea is. If the pattern is not right, and you are going to make 100 dresses, all 100 will come out wrong. So it's worth making the investment. If you do not trust your pattern making skills, my suggestion is always look for somebody that you can pay to get your patterns done. So you look for fabric to create this pattern that you have made. The reason why you go into to your samples, you don't start producing. You test because you have to test the patterns. Because sometimes the pattern looks okay. All your measurements, everything looks right, and the pattern looks wonderful, and it's taken the pattern maker 48 hours to do the patterns, and you spend so much time, so surely it must be right. Then you start making then you make the first sample. You make the first sample and you're looking at it and it's like, it's not quite working out how we thought it would. Yeah? So it's very important. And then so that stage that you go back, you make the pattern, how you make all of the corrections at that point. Then you make your fit sample. Who knows what a fit sample is? Designers? Fashion business owners? So your fit sample is the sample that you make for your fit model to try on. I know a lot of us, especially women, you make the dress and you're going to be your own fit model. The reason why that is not advisable is because a lot of times when you wear the clothes, you wear it and you can tuck it in here and fold it there and you're ready to just kind of manage it. But when you have somebody else wearing and you can stand back and ask the person to turn around, stay stand, because that dress has to be able to do everything that dress needs to do. So and that is what then informs how much of the pieces remain in the collection. Yeah? How many people edit? How many people, or do you just look at the clothes and think, oh, I really like it, I don't care? Because you need to be able to care. When we did this dress, in fact, I'm wearing the prototype, so I'm wearing what was the second step from the fit sample. When we did it initially, we thought it was a fantastic idea to have the string in the sleeve. It's really nice. It doesn't do anything to the dress. It doesn't do anything but to add labor, fabric to the dress. So the ones we did for the store, we took out the string in the sleeve. It just wasn't doing anything. And it will take for us to tell you that it doesn't have any string for you to even notice that it doesn't have any string. But the time it took and the fabric it took to do that, we stripped it off. So you need to be, and you have to be brutally honest with yourself. Sometimes as creatives, we're so caught in the, I really like it. This design came to me when I was sleeping, so I know God was definitely speaking to me. So therefore, I can't. But you're business people. You're business people. So you're saying, if it's taking my tailor an additional 30 minutes to do something that has no added value, ask him to take it off. Take it off. It's just, who's going to pay for that? I'm not going to pay for it, and I'm certainly not going to pass that to my customers. So it's always you paying or your customers paying. So if I'm not ready to pay for it, my customer isn't going to pay for it. There's nothing, it does not, if you didn't see it, you would not miss it. Yeah? So you must edit, and you have to be brutal. One of my mentors in the industry is Duro Lowu. And when I called him and said, what do I need to do? He said, ITUEN, edit, edit, edit. Every time I speak with him, it just goes, edit, edit, edit. You'd have the entire collection. You need to walk up this way, down that way, and say to yourself, what can we do without compromising the aesthetics or the collection? Yeah? Because the next thing is costing. What do you guys, is that a difficult part for people, or, is it a walking park for people? Costing. Who likes costing? Most fashion people, most creatives don't like to talk about money. You add your indirect cost to your direct cost to get your total cost. Then you multiply that by 2. In the industry generally, it's between 2.2 and 3 markup. So that's your markup rate. So you take that and you add and multiply it by 2. Let's say, just for the sake of argument, let's say 2.5 to get your wholesale price. Yeah. So if somebody came to you and said, "I want this and I want it to, make 20 for me. I'm going to go and resell." That would be your wholesale price. Then you take your wholesale price and mark it up by another 2 or 2.5 to get your retail price. Yeah. It's very straightforward, very simple, but I see people agonizing, and a lot of times when I'm talking to young designers, I always get people say things like, I just want to sell clothes like 4,000 naira. I want to, I want to be able to attract people like myself, people that, just can't spend more than 2,500 buying clothes. It's wonderful and it's a very noble and worthy cause, if you like. But stop and ask yourself, how much did you spend on the fabric? How much are you paying the tailor? How much are you paying for the place that you are? And for those of you that are being housed by your parents, your family, and you think, oh, well, I'm not paying for the place. Don't forget, someday, you're going to be paying for your place, and it gives you a very false notion, a very false sense of what you're achieving, because the day you have to step out, and suddenly you have to pay rent, and that rent is factored into that garment, and then the same customers that have been buying these dresses at 1,500 come to you and it's like, Tosi, where's Tosi? Tosi, what happened? What happened? Now you're selling at 5 hours. See, big dog, you've got to Lekki. You have to remember that all of those things have to be added to the cost. Whether right now somebody is backing you or not, because otherwise you're never going to get a true picture of what you're doing. So we come to a technical pack. A technical pack is quite technical, as the name suggests, but this is what we need to prepare. Because now we know how much it's going to cost us to do. We need to be able to send to whoever is producing it. So whether it's an in-house production team or we're contracting or sending the work out to a factory to do, we need to be able to communicate with them. A lot of the times what we find is that somebody comes to me and they say, I want this shirt made. And they give me a sketch. Yeah, I'm looking at the sketch, and this is not even fiction, this is true, it's happened over and over again. Wonderful design, I'm looking at it, and as a producer, I say to the person, how does it fasten in the back? And I can tell you, too many times, I see them do this. So they're holding this is a sketch here. They're looking at the sketch and they pass the sketch to me, and I say to them, yeah, this is wonderful, but how does it fasten in the back? What's the closure in the back? They collect the paper, they've just given me the paper, right? They collect the paper from me and they turn it around to look at the back. There's nothing on the back. When they were designing it, it never entered the head that you were going to have a back. Because all the design, everything is happening in front. What happens in the back is an afterthought. I asked somebody, how do I get into this dress? They can't even, yeah, that's true. So when you do your technical pack, what it does, it forces you to think the front, the back, the side. I want the sleeve. How long is this flank going to be? Should it come below my elbow or should it end at my elbow? There are all kinds of cost implications to where it should end. There are also the aesthetics. I don't want it to come too long. So it's not just about the cost. It will just look a bit too frumpy. Or I don't want it to be too short. Then it looks like it was a mistake. I didn't have enough fabric. So there are all kinds of things that you need to consider. But when you're preparing your technical pack, it forces you to consider all of these things. Am I going to have buttons down my shirt? What's the spacing between each button? Do we think about that when we're doing it? Is it just, like you can take it, you get to the person that is doing the buttons, and that one just decides. And then you find a lot of women, you button here, then you have to use the safety pin to hold here. These are things that you need to consider. You're the person designing it. When I come into your store and I pick up a shirt and I want to wear it, the minute I do this and I button it and I have a big fat gaping hole here, I'm going to put it down. That's not the time for you to look and think, oh yeah, you should have, madam, we can give you a brooch. It should have had a button and you should have considered that. And at your fit model stage, you would have picked that up if you were paying attention. Then you would have been able to tell at your technical pack stage how many buttons you're going to need down the front of your shirt or your front of your dress or whatever it is. How high should it be? Should it have a slit? We'll do a slit, and then we don't really think about it. And then when the person wears it, instead of it to look like a slit, it looks like a big fat triangle, a big V at the back. Yeah, I can see some of you nodding because it happens. You know, these are the things that you need to consider. When you're doing your technical pack, you would look at all of those things. Yeah? So where are we now? And then you start to prepare for production. Are we taking, do you know what a CMT is? CMT, cut, make and trim. So are we taking it to a factory? Are we going to outsource it? Are we going to take it to a production unit to do? Are we working with a manufacturer? So the main difference between a manufacturer and a production house is that the production people will expect you to bring all of your materials to them. Yeah, you bring the fabrics. They might provide some threads, but more often than not, they'll ask you to bring your thread, and then you take your things. You'll take your patterns, you'll take whatever it is that you need for them to do. All they do is they just cut it and they just sew it and they give it back to you. So CMT means cut, make and trim. A manufacturer would buy the fabric, they'll produce the clothes, and then you go to them and say, I would like style 1, I like style 17, I like style 4, but you know, like with style 20, can you tweak the collar? I don't like the collar, take the collar out. Yeah, so you need to know who these people are and how they work. Yeah? But it's at this point, and then you must always look at the terms of reference, the terms of engagement. Don't say to them, oh yes, it's nice. They call you and say, okay, come and look at the dress, and you say, no, it's okay, I'll send my girl. And the girl goes there and is so intimidated by the people that they're talking to that they just say yes to everything. Come the time to pick up the clothes, you go to collect your garments and you don't recognize anything. And you're screaming and shouting and they say, well, you didn't sign anything. We have made it, it's time for you to pay. Quality control. Quality control is something that you should have been doing from the get-go. So from when you're looking at your patterns, the initial patterns, every step of the way, you must go back and look, does it look like what I would like it to look? Does it have the kind of quality I would want my name associated with? Can it go out and represent my brand? Yeah? So quality control, you must make sure that, you know, like you set the parameters for your quality control. You're going to, at the end of it, come back and look. You know, people send out clothes that have pins in them to clients. So your client is wearing a dress and it has a pin in it. So all of these things you need to check. It's not a novel, it's finished. And you know, I can go to some places and the clothes when they finish are on the floor. The clothes that people are going to wear. We say to my workers, we do not wash the clothes before we send them out. So we can't be picking things off the floor. If you're sewing white, they are washing their hands every 2 hours. You have to go to the bathroom and wash your hands because you're sitting there, you're sweating, it's humid, your hands start to get a bit clammy, and you're handling this fabric, and before we know it, the collar doesn't look like something that anybody's going to wear. Yeah, so you must, you set, what are the benchmarks for your quality control? What we need to do, at what point we need to come back and look at it?
You spoke about costing. Now I wanted to ask, you said before you know the price of what a garment goes for, that we should put to consideration our direct and indirect costs. What about the situation where if it's going to take me 4 hours to make a dress, do I still put that into consideration as well?
People come to us and like, I just want a straight skirt. And I say to myself, this straight skirt that you want, how many seams does it have? 1, 2 side seams and a center back seam. That's 3. It doesn't matter what the fabric is. I mean, apart from when, like it's very, very fine fabric. But if it's anything between, like from all the range of cotton or, linen, it's going to take me the same amount of time to go from the top to the bottom 3 times. That's what I'm doing. Does it have a zip in the back? I put the zip. So I will do the costing based on the value that I have placed for our man hour. I can't, there's There's no book for you to go to that is going to determine how much your hour costs. So if it takes you, so something, for instance, what you're saying that if it takes you 4 hours to do, you could bring the same thing to me and I can do it in 30 minutes. So you're charging 4 hours, I would be charging 30 minutes. But my 30 minutes could be valued at your 4 hours or vice versa. So your direct cost is your labor cost. How much time does it take for you to do it? That's what you're going to that's what comes back to being your labor cost.
Okay, for designers that are just starting, and sometimes, okay, we talked about costing, and this question is just about costing, your pricing. And after you finish doing your direct cost and your indirect cost, and you come up with your actual cost, do you actually, is there, when you started your brand, was there any time that you had to actually reduce your price because you wanted people to actually buy your stuff? Because some people complain, oh, why am I buying this for such amount of money, you know?
I'm not, it's unfortunate that you can't afford it, because you see, I'm not, we want to imagine that we're big designers and we have this big, but I'm not sent to everybody. I cannot make clothes for all of Nigeria. So I have a market that is looking for me, and they will come to me and they'll find me. So the people that cannot find, or like they're attracted to the brand, but they cannot afford the pieces, it is what it is. I mean, like, I would love to wear Louis Vuitton every day. I can't afford it. I would love to drive a Mercedes every single day, but I can't afford it. So you aspire to those things. It's not a crime. But for me, I would be doing my brand and my work a big disservice if I started bringing down my price because people couldn't afford it. Because what happens, and I see this all the time with a lot of where we have this informal sort of situation, when people, they see you coming with your Louis Vuitton bag, it's like, yeah, back up the price, back up that. Suddenly that person comes in, the dress that was 10,000 naira before she came in becomes 20,000 naira because they feel she can afford it. So you have this thing that is, it's just undulating. We don't do that. So it is what it is. That's the price. I sell a product and not a price.
What was the process like? Because getting self-employed, everybody says they're good, but do you try different things to make, and then what's the process like in getting self-employed?
Okay, I'm never really sure how to answer that question because I graduated from fashion school in 1991. And I was making wedding dresses by myself. I was sewing the wedding dresses by myself for 15 years. So when I interview them, what I usually am looking for is for them not to know how to sew. So I can teach them. Usually when they come and they can sew it, they're going to be making a mess. So so it's a bit of a trick question for me. So when people come, it's like, how long have you been sewing? And they're very excited, they're coming into Trinidad, so they want to show me how, you sew with my brother for 7 years. I'm like, okay, so here, sew this, and and they're trying, and it's like, no, it's not gonna work. So I'm usually looking for those ones that are green, fresh knits. Then I can take them and I can show them what it is to sew a straight line. When they start with me, they will spend like a week sewing nothing but paper. With, the roll sheets, all you're doing is sewing that. They will get to a point where they're sewing it with their hands behind their back and they're just stepping on the pedal.